Here are times when things start happening in such a precise, aligned way that it's almost scary. People show up out of nowhere with exactly the answer you needed. You think about something, and it appears. Coincidence? Not even close. What if I told you that when everything starts connecting without explanation, it's because your soul is already going through an activation process, even if you're still living as if it's all just random chance? Most people ignore this moment and go back to their routine. But those who pay attention, their lives change. And that's no exaggeration. What's behind these invisible connections is a higher force, and the most dangerous thing you can do is keep ignoring it. Here's the truth no one ever told you. The universe doesn't run on luck. It runs on frequency. And when your vibrational energy shifts, your reality shifts with it. At first, it's subtle. Then it becomes so obvious that only those who refuse to see it keep calling it luck or coincidence. This video is for you, the one who's already starting to feel that something bigger is moving behind the scenes of your life. And here's the warning. When everything starts aligning, it's not the time to doubt. It's time to act. Because what's coming might just be one of the biggest turning points of your life. There are moments in life when things start to make a kind of sense that logic just can't explain. You think of someone, and they call you. You dream of a place, and the next day you see it in an ad. Coincidence? Maybe not. Carl Jung would call it synchronicity. It's as if the universe is silently stitching events together with a precision that borders on the supernatural. These synchronous signs are like whispers from your soul, trying to get your attention. And when you ignore them, they only grow louder. That's when awakening begins, not like a lightning bolt in the middle of a storm, but like a gentle breeze that quietly shifts your entire path. Anyone who's been through this knows there's no unseeing it. Spiritual connection begins to show up in the spaces between things, in the details. You start noticing patterns, signs, hidden messages in conversations that once seemed ordinary. What used to feel like random encounters now seem more like answers from the universe than coincidences. A great exercise for anyone wanting to understand these alignments better is to keep a synchronicity journal. Write down dates, events, recurring thoughts. Over time, you'll start to see that your vibrational energy is shaping your surroundings, and that life is, in fact, listening. And then comes the question that haunts those who are waking up. Why is everything aligning right now? Why are the signs getting stronger? Maybe it's because the time to act is knocking at your door. And if that's the case, you can't keep living as if it's all random. When everything connects with such precision, it's not chance, it's your calling. And the universe? Oh, it always starts with a whisper. What comes after that? Well, sometimes we ignore that strange dream. That same phrase you hear from 3 different people in the same week. That one song that plays right when you're thinking of giving up. But these details aren't random. They're disguised warnings. The universe doesn't barge into your life with blaring horns and neon signs. It starts with a whisper. It gives you time to feel, it gives you space to sense. But when you ignore it, it starts to shout. And when it shouts, it usually hurts. That shout might come in the form of an unexpected job loss, an illness that forces you to slow down, or the end of a relationship that's been pulling you away from who you truly are. It feels like punishment, but it's actually intervention. It's the calling getting louder because the first signal was missed. And what was meant to be a gentle nudge turns into an existential earthquake. Awakening doesn't always begin in the light. More often than not, it starts in the chaos. If you don't learn by listening to the whisper, you'll have to learn by facing the scream. One powerful practice to help you start hearing these whispers is mindful meditation, even if it's just 10 minutes a day. Listening to your breath, observing your thoughts. Reading books like The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle can help expand that inner listening. Because when you quiet the outside world, you start to hear the universe within you. And in that silence, something greater reveals itself. But the question that lingers is this: is your frequency truly ready for those revelations? Have you ever noticed how, when you're feeling good, everything just seems to flow? The right people show up, opportunities appear out of nowhere, even the traffic seems to cooperate. But when you're feeling low, it's like everything starts going wrong. That's not luck or misfortune. It's vibrational energy. The world responds to what you radiate. It's like an invisible mirror reflecting your thoughts, emotions, and intentions. Once you understand this, you begin to choose more consciously what you feel, what you think, and most importantly, what you vibrate. Spiritual alignment happens when your inner frequency connects with the external movements of life. And what's most curious is that this often happens without the person even realizing it. They shift on the inside, start treating themselves better, forgive something from the past, let go of a burden they've been carrying, and suddenly everything around them starts to shift too. It's as if the universe says, "Now you're ready." And what once felt stuck begins to flow with an almost magical ease. If you want to see this change in action, start by changing what you consume. Swap out the heavy news cycle for a book that expands your mind. Replace negative conversations with exchanges that inspire you. Care for your vibration the way you tend a garden, with attention, intention, and consistency. The frequency you emit today is the reality you attract tomorrow. And when everything starts aligning, the question is no longer, why is this happening? But rather, how did I manage to hold this vibration for so long without even realizing it? Every synchronicity carries a hidden question. Are you ready? When something unexplainable happens, like hearing the exact answer to a question moments after you've asked it silently, it's not just a beautiful coincidence. It's an invitation. A call for you to step through an invisible portal between what is ordinary and what is conscious. In those moments, spiritual connection becomes tangible, almost as if someone up there is saying, "Now it's up to you." These portals appear all the time, in the choice to take a different path, in an unexpected encounter, in a book that falls off the shelf, open to a page that feels like it was written just for you. Most people miss these moments because they're too busy, too distracted, too logical. But those who develop an awakened perspective begin to realize that the most important decisions in life don't come from outside. They come from within. And stepping through a portal isn't always about changing location. Sometimes it's about changing awareness. To begin recognizing these portals, practice presence. One helpful exercise is to write down a list of the coincidences you noticed at the end of each day. Then observe the patterns. Reflect. What is this trying to show me? Another tip is to use oracles as symbolic tools, not for fortune-telling, but as mirrors for your intuition. Because when you start seeing synchronicities as signs, you awaken. But the real question is, are you truly ready to break free from autopilot? Most people live on autopilot and don't even realize it. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat. A cycle that seems normal, but actually traps you. And when synchronistic signs show up, they dismiss them as just in their head. But true awakening begins when you start questioning that autopilot. When you realize that this routine is actually numbing your spiritual connection. That the absence of conscious choices is, in practice, a subtle form of control. When everything starts connecting, when the signs grow stronger, it's because something greater is trying to wake you up. But most would rather stay asleep, because waking up hurts. It hurts to see that you were living a life that wasn't really yours, that you were settling for crumbs when you could have had the feast. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." So the real question is, who's been guiding your days? If you feel like you're stuck in repeat mode, try breaking small patterns. Take a different route to work. Say no where you always say yes. Sit in silence with yourself for 5 minutes and ask, what does my soul want today? Small breaks can open big portals, and when the universe sees you're trying to break free from the collective hypnosis, it gets closer, it brings clarity, it synchronizes everything. And when that happens, there's no going back to pretending nothing changed. Now tell me, after everything you've just heard, are you really going to keep living on autopilot? Are you really going to ignore the signs the universe has been sending you all this time? Deep down, you already know. When everything starts connecting without explanation, it's not coincidence, it's a calling. And the real question is, are you going to answer it or pretend you didn't hear? Because if you keep putting it off, you might miss the portals the universe has opened for you right now. And here's something I can guarantee. Those portals don't stay open forever. So ask yourself honestly, what was the most powerful synchronicity you've ever experienced? The kind that gave you goosebumps and made you think, this can't just be a coincidence. Share it in the comments. Your story might awaken someone on the other side of the screen. And more importantly, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Just watch and carry on as if nothing happened? Or will you start observing, writing it down, and acting like someone who's truly ready for change? If this resonated with you, if at any moment you felt something stir inside, then this is your sign. And if you want to keep receiving these reminders from the universe, do this. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay with us for the next videos. Here we don't just talk about spirituality, we live it with awareness, purpose, and a whole lot of truth. And the next synchronicity that could change your life might be in the very next video.